Hi, fourth graders, wrong side. It is Miss Rayborn here. Last week we started just sort of dipping our toe into the idea of Impressionism and what that means and what these artists were interested in. So today we're going to look at a few examples of Impressionist artists and talk just a little bit more about it. I am leaving in the virtual field trip from last week in the slideshow, just in case you didn't have a chance to do it. And I also am going to leave it in the links within Schoology if you can get to them, because a couple of people said they didn't have a chance to do it. I didn't get any feedback from you guys about how it went, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, if it even worked. So a couple of people asked me to leave it in was the only thing they did. One of them said they liked it so much they wanted to be able to look at it again later. I'm hoping that you liked it. Please let me know. So let's talk about Claude Monet. You visited Monet's garden, or if you didn't, you can try it again this week. And this painting is called Water Lilies and Japanese Bridge, and it was painted in 1899. Oil on canvas means that it is an oil paint on a canvas, which is a stretched fabric. So you had a chance to visit this actual bridge if you did the virtual field trip, and I'm hoping you can see some similarities. So one of the things that's so important about Impressionists is that they're trying to capture a moment in time, right? So in an Impressionist painting, the viewer who's looking at it hopefully can definitely get an idea of what it was like to stand there on that moment on that day. So things that might be important to understand are things like, what is the weather like? Is it sunny outside? What's it happening with the light shining down? Do we see it shining on the water and things like that? Also, you might even be able to sort of imagine what kinds of sounds you might hear because of the fact that we're in this very outdoorsy, naturey spot. You can imagine you might be hearing things like birds. You might be hearing fish jumping in the pond. You might be hearing the rustling of some of those reeds and things around the edge of the pond. So it very much gives you a feeling of what it would be like, or an impression of what it would be like to be standing there in that moment at that time. Okay. So here is another example of Impressionist artwork by an artist named Renoir, Pierre-Auguste Renoir. And this was painted in 1876. It's also an oil painting. And it is capturing a dance. So we're outside and we can see, hopefully you can see my cursor, that there are some lights and chandeliers hanging down. This is an area or a park that's been designed for people to be able to come, see their friends, sit on the benches, have a snack or a lunch. These people look like they're having an afternoon drink or a lunch together possibly, and they're sort of chit-chatting with each other. Some of the people over here are dancing way off in the distance. Back here, we can see what might be a bandstand or a stage back there. So if you're trying to imagine what it's like to be there in that spot at that exact moment, I can imagine like maybe I would be hearing talking and chattering. I might be hearing laughter. I might be hearing the music that's playing back here. I might even be kind of experiencing a little bit of noisiness. There's a lot of people around, right? It looks like some of these people are even kind of leaning in to hear the people that they're with better because it's a pretty busy place. Okay. The other thing that we're noticing is even how the light is going through the trees onto like the back of the blazer of this man here. We can see the light sort of flickering through the trees and onto the back of his jacket. So the light is still a big part of it. Even back in here where people are dancing, we can see how the light is flickering through the trees and giving us that idea of what it was like to be in that spot at that moment. Okay. The last artist I'm going to talk to you about today really quickly is her name is Berthe Morisot, and this is a female artist. And in the next slide, you're going to get to learn a little bit more about her because she is the only female impressionist, and she had kind of a tough time. So you can see here also we're outside and we're capturing a moment in nature, almost like a snapshot so that you can capture what